What is up, people? I am Jay Shady, and you are listening to the Voice of Reason. So yeah, what a fucking entertaining show that was. I was so thrilled by everything I saw for 3 hours. You know, for a company called World Wrestling Entertainment, there's not too much entertainment on the show. You know, you would think the mission statement would be to entertain, yet it doesn't. You know, I think a more appropriate name for this company would be not WWE, but WWB, World Wrestling Boredom. You know, that is a perfect name for this company. You know, usually in your mission statement, the name of the company, you want it to represent what you do. And we all know that WWE, what they do is bore us. So call it World Wrestling Boredom, and there you go. You have a catchy fucking name and a true representation of yourself, not false advertising like World Wrestling Entertainment, because this was not entertaining. Speaking of false advertisement, let's get to the first segment on this show. So, you know, everybody's tuning in on Raw because they hyped up Paul Heyman versus Vince McMahon. We've never seen this, you know. We're thinking, oh, we're going to get a Paul Heyman versus Vince McMahon match, or at least, you know, a fight. It wasn't neither of those. It was a 2-second beatdown just for returns of a couple of people. So let's go through it. Vince McMahon comes out and says, Paul Heyman, get your ass out here. He doesn't say ass, I'm just improvising here. But Paul Heyman comes out and says he's going to beat up Vince McMahon. Then he gets a cheap shot on him. Starts beating him with the crutch. Vince McMahon retaliates, beats him with a crutch like 2 times. And then Brock Lesnar's music plays, and that's it. There was the huge fucking fight. The fight that we've all been dying to see. You know, ECW versus WWE. Lasted for all of 30 seconds. Woo! False advertising. Alright, so Brock Lesnar comes, and like, I don't know, I wasn't expecting Brock Lesnar to come at fucking 8 o'clock right off the bat. I was like, you know, just trying to get settled in, and I was like, oh, what the fuck, already we're getting, you know, whatever. Brock Lesnar comes back, and then he goes to beat up Vince McMahon, and what is it time for? Time to play the game, the game is back, it is time, to bury Brock Lesnar with my nose, because you broke my arm, I have to beat you at WrestleMania, because I'm still relevant, You know, why? You know, why can't this guy just sit at his desk and, like, start running WWE? Why does he have to fucking come out and make believe he's still a wrestler? He has no hair anymore, you can't even, like, get into it. It just doesn't look like him. He just looks like some fucking nerd, you know? Whatever, I'll say the beatdown was cool because guess what? We got some fucking blood! Holy shit, you know? How about that? Some blood. You know, it's funny, every time Brock Lesnar is there, that's the only time we get some blood. So, but yeah, Brock Lesnar, Triple H threw Brock Lesnar into the ring post. It was a pretty vicious looking bump. Brock Lesnar is bleeding like a fucking animal, like Attitude Era style, the old days, bleeding all over the place. I love that, you know? People saying, oh, you know, you don't need blood. You know, blood doesn't enhance the quality. It fucking does. When 2 guys are beating the shit out of each other and they're not bleeding, it looks fucking fake. Blood adds a lot of drama to it. I'm not saying, you know, everybody bleed every fucking match, but once in a while, some heavy blood does a lot of good for you. You know, imagine WrestleMania 13, Stone Cold versus Bret Hart when Bret Hart has him in the sharpshooter. You think of that match because of the blood pouring down Austin's face and, you know, him just not saying I quit. You know, it wouldn't have the same resonance without the blood. But anyway, there you go. Triple H just beats up Brock Lesnar, hits him in the back with a chair. So we're getting it. Triple H versus Brock Lesnar for all you people trying to say, oh, why you guessing? It's just guesswork. Why you don't say it? You know, you don't know for sure. I don't know why people give WWE so much credit, like they can actually do something surprising. Don't you know you can predict this shit 6 months before it happens? So, you know, when I say something is going to happen, it's obvious that it is. Why are people saying, oh, you don't know that? That's not fact. Yeah, that's not true, man. Alright, whatever. We got blood, hey. Then you get Dolph Ziggler versus Ryback. And you know, Dolph Ziggler is so important to this company that they don't even give him a fucking entrance. He's just like there in the ring already. You don't even see him come out. You don't hear his music play. That's how, you know, greatly this company thinks of Dolph Ziggler, Mr. Money in the Bank. They have no clue what to do with this fucking guy. So yeah, there you go. Ryback versus Dolph Ziggler. Basically, it was like a fucking 15-minute squash match. Why couldn't you just do this in 5 seconds, you know? Ryback just beating the shit out of Dolph Ziggler. And it was boring as hell because Ryback, if you're booking him like Goldberg, he should be having like 5-minute matches tops. When he's having 15-minute matches, all of his weaknesses show. All he does is power moves. You can't do that shit for 15 fucking minutes. It gets boring. You know, the crowd was dead throughout the whole thing. You know, it was just boring because Ryback shouldn't be wrestling 15-minute fucking matches. And I just want to say, Biggie Langston, this guy needs to get some new fucking ring wear because that attire is just too revealing for my heterosexual taste. I mean, you see the guy walking around, it's like basically he's wearing a fucking thong, you know, you see his whole ass fucking hanging out. I don't want to see that shit. You know, put on some trunks or something. Get that fucking singlet out of here. You see the whole guy's ass popping out. You know, in WWE, the men wear more revealing clothes than the women do. Alright, so whatever. Ryback beats Dolph Ziggler with authority. Yeah, that's awesome. Then you get a CM Punk promo. So here we go. All you CM Punk lovers, CM Punk cocksuckers, you can come flame my video. Because I'm going to say this promo from CM Punk was fucking boring. Yeah, it was fucking boring. This is like one of the worst promos from Punk I've ever seen. This guy was just rambling about nonsense for fucking like 10 minutes. Just talking about how the show is all about him. And you could tell all this was just him on the top of his head. He was repeating shit over and over again. You could tell he didn't have a script in mind. He just went out there and said whatever was on his mind, you know, without having a clear focus. This promo sucked. Now all you CM Punk people who, you know, oh, how dare we say something negative about CM Punk? How dare we say he had a cold night and it wasn't all fucking great material, you know? You're going to go flip out now. You're going to flip out on everybody who criticizes CM Punk because he's the Messiah. And then, fittingly, it ends the promo with CM Punk saying that he is God. He says, I am God. And that's just what you fucking punk marks think of this guy. You really do think that CM Punk is God. You definitely want a Bible to be made, you know, doing sacrifices for your great God, CM Punk. Oh, God. Oh, or should I say, oh, CM Punk. So, promo sucked. Then you get the next Hall of Fame inductee for the Celebrity Wang. In the Celebrity Wang of the Hall of Fame, we get Donald Trump. Whatever, I'm not gonna, you know, argue about it, you know. We had Drew Carey in it, so it can't get fucking worse than that. So, alright, Donald Trump. Then you get Great Khali versus Mark Henry. Mark Henry beats him in like 2 minutes. You know, at least they just got this shit over with right now, because I heard people on, you know, YouTube and the internet saying that, you know, they might be working towards a WrestleMania match. Thankfully, we're not getting that, and we just finished this shit on Raw tonight, so whatever, wasn't anything good, you know. Is there anything good that ever comes out of Khali's ass? No, you know. The guy can't fucking walk, so how could he be in a wrestling ring? He's just, like, so fucking clunky. How did he not, like, fall down and break his leg? I don't know. Yeah, and then you get, like, a shitload of fucking movie trailers all of a sudden. You know, I guess, you know, WWE felt, you know, snubbed by the Oscars because they didn't get any contention. You know, they didn't get nominated for anything, so they start promoting their own movies the day after the Oscar. You got promos for The Call with Halle Berry and David Otunga, and they show a trailer of it. And what is with WWE, you know, advertising their own superstars being in movies? They say David Otunga is in The Call, and you don't even see him in the fucking trailer. What kind of advertisement is this? Last week you get Wade Barrett saying he's in Dead Man Down. You know, you see him for a brief second. He's just like walking by. This one, you don't even see David Otunga in the trailer. It's like what company would promote its superstars in a movie and the trailer doesn't even show the superstar? That doesn't make sense. And then right after that, you get a little trailer for the Marine 3 coming out on DVD. You know, all of a sudden, you know, WWE's going Hollywood again. It's WrestleMania 21. You know, like I didn't know I was watching, you know, Turner Classic Movies, watching, you know, a bunch of movie montages. Okay. Then you get Miz TV, and this was one of the two good things tonight. Miz TV. Thankfully, thank CM Punk, because I can't say thank God anymore. Thank CM Punk that WWE is still going full force with this We the People, Zeb Coulter, Jack Swagger thing, you know? Us, you know, Attitude Era fans that are loving this angle, we're a little worried there. Jack Swagger had us a little worried with that smoking of the marijuana, that they might push this shit down. But thankfully they're not. We got, you know, hard-hitting stuff tonight on Miz TV. You had Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger and Del Rio and Ricardo Rodriguez all being interviewed on Miz TV. Jack Swagger's eyes looked a little red, so he must have been doing something before this interview. I don't know, you know. But yeah, Zeb Coulter bringing his A game again. You know, just bashing Mexico, calling Mexicans a bunch of criminals. You know, it was really fucking intense stuff. I was like, holy shit! I was on the edge of my seat the whole fucking time. You know, then you get Del Rio doing a good face promo saying how he just came to America to provide his family with a better life, and that everything is possible when you come to America. So, you know, giving those you know, underdogs something to cheer for, you know, his, you know, Mexican comrades coming to America, it's something to cheer for, something, a hero to look up to. So I thought this was good shit on both sides, and thankfully they didn't tone it down. So great that they're still fucking going with this. And you know, it really, like, whoever thought that an angle between Jack Swagger, Zeb Coulter, and Alberto Del Rio would be the main attraction to a WrestleMania, the main thing you're interested in, though. You know? That's how you know this shit sucks. When the one thing you only want to look forward to is Zeb Coulter, Jack Swagger, and Alberto Del Rio. Imagine that. You have The Rock there. You have Brock Lesnar, Triple H, CM Punk there. And the Zeb Coulter, Jack Swagger versus Alberto Del Rio thing is more entertaining than all that shit combined. Alright. Yeah, whoever thought that shit would happen. Then you get Randy Orton versus Antonio Cesaro. You know, we saw this match 3 weeks ago. It was much better 3 weeks ago. This match was, it was boring. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. Randy Orton wins. I guess how he wins, I bet you wouldn't guess. With an RKO, but not only an RKO. An RKO from out of nowhere! You see this every fucking week. It's not from out of nowhere anymore. I'm sorry. Then you get a Daniel Bryan and Kane really fucking PG segment backstage. They're all like, Daniel Bryan's like, I could beat the primetime players blindfolded. You know, break this fucking team up already. Jesus Christ. You have Kane, who used to be a big red monster. I know I say this every week, but he's a PG bitch. You have the greatest wrestler on the show being a PG bitch. Does this shit make sense? Basically, then you get Vicky Guerrero and Brad Maddox saying that they're going to face the primetime players with Daniel Bryan being blindfolded and Kane having a hand tied behind his back. So, okay. Then you get... this was weird. You got a vignette from the WrestleMania 21 promos when WrestleMania went in Hollywood and they did the parodies of the movies. They showed A Few Good Men when John Cena and John Bradshaw Layfield were playing Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, and it was like, what? Why are we promoting like WrestleMania 21? Why are we showing fucking hype for WrestleMania 21? We're working to 29 here. We're showing old fucking vignettes. Like, this shit is from 8 years ago. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? You know, just because it's, you know, the Oscars were last night, we're going to show WrestleMania 21 clips. Okay, you make a lot of sense, Vince. Then you get more, like, this is like movie night for WWE. You get Sheamus in a fucking tuxedo, you know, delivering his Oscar snub. You know, being real fucking cheesy. And just a little rant on Sheamus here. This fucking guy, I hate Sheamus with a fucking passion. You know, if this guy is the next face of the company after Cena, you know, count me out. I'm done with wrestling because there is no way I could watch, you know, a company being headed by this goofball, you know, coming out with his big eyes and his big smile every time. Fella! Hey fella! You know, that shit is, oh, get out of here, you know, you fucking white pasty, orange hair, smiling fucking Irish motherfucker, you know? And this guy sucks, you know, he's worse than Cena, you know? He's fucking bad, this guy. This guy has no fucking mic work whatsoever. His promo abilities suck, you know? At least John Cena could say something exciting at once in a blue moon. Look at this, I'm fucking defending John Cena. I never thought I'd be defending John Cena, but that's how bad this Sheamus motherfucker is. Alright, so he's doing this Oscar snub thing. He's saying that Wade Barrett was snubbed for his great performance in Dead Man Down, and then they show another fucking trailer from it. How many fucking movie trailers are we gonna see tonight? It's like, where is this feud coming from? I thought Wade Barrett was like feuding with Bo Dallas. All of a sudden Sheamus is feuding with Wade Barrett. Other than Rock versus Cena and Triple H versus Brock, This company has no fucking clue what they're doing with the WrestleMania card. They're just switching people all around. It's all fucking chaos outside of those 2 matches, you know? This company is like fucking their mind has been taken out of their brain and flushed down the fucking toilet. Everybody's all over the place, no direction whatsoever. So yeah, Wade Barrett's all like, I have a movie premiere tomorrow, so I'm not gonna get mixed up with you, whatever, it's stupid. Then you get the Primetime Players versus Team Hell No. And it was the gimmick that Dan Bryan was blindfolded and Kane had an arm tied behind his back. You know, I guess it was gimmicky. It was like there's a chuckle, you know, maybe one chuckle that came out for me, but whatever. Team Hell No wins. Even Kane gets a chokeslam with one arm tied behind his back. Not much to say. Then you get a Shield promo, and this, you know, I like the guys involved in the Shield, and I like how the Shield's been winning lately, and I like their John Cena promo. This promo was fucking boring. It was just, we're dominant. Yeah, we're taking everybody out. It was just bland shit. You know, Dean Ambrose just didn't say anything exciting this time. You know, Roman Reigns was just screaming, and Seth Rollins was, I don't know. But it just was bland this time. The shit was not even average. Lower than average. And then fucking Sheamus comes out again. You know? This company has no clue what they're doing, that they have people coming out 5 fucking times on the show. They have no fucking roster, so they have to have the same fucking people. You have Sheamus involved in a feud with Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett involved in a feud with Bo Dallas. And now Sheamus also involved in a feud with The Shield. What the fuck is going on? You know, how could we get invested in one storyline when these people are having multiple storylines? Sheamus is like, I'm gonna beat ya, fella. Come and fight me, fella. So whatever, and then he coaxes them to come out, and then Randy Orton from out of nowhere RKO Seth Rollins. All of a sudden, Randy Orton is back in the Shield picture. What the fuck is this? I feel like might as well just hit my head against the wall a bunch of times and eat paint chips. Somehow that would be better for my brain than watching some of this shit. Then you get Jack Swagger versus The Miz. It went on for a long time. I mean, it was an okay match. It wasn't that good, really. Yeah, it wasn't that good. It wasn't as good as Jack Swagger versus Daniel Bryan. Jack Swagger wins with the Patriot Act or the Patriot Lock. I don't even know what the fuck they're calling it. They call it a different name every fucking match. Then you get a nice inspirational superhero John Cena promo. You know, it's been so long since I've heard one of those. Now I feel like I could take on the world. Thank you, John Cena. You're the best. You know, he says he's going to, like, fight The Rock and beat The Rock, and he's going to beat CM Punk, and, yeah, how it's his time. You know, it's been his time for 10 years, and it's still his time. Then you get the main event, and it's CM Punk versus John Cena. The first thing I want to say, this was a really good match, but I've seen this match so many fucking times between 2011 Money in the Bank, and now it's like, I don't even care about this shit anymore, you know? I don't care how good this match was. It's like, I've seen this shit like fucking 5, 6 times, you know? I just seen this shit at Night of Champions. I seen him fight John Cena and Punk fight John Cena and Ryback at Hell in a Cell. How many times do they want to do this shit? You know, these are the 2 top guys, and they're fighting every other fucking month. It starts out a little slow. It starts out different. You have Cena doing some chain wrestling here, you know, and I'll give Cena credit here because, you know, I'm not like these marks that go crazy and have this one-minded point of view, or these fanboys. I'll give credit to Cena. He did bring in a lot of effort this time. He wasn't, you know, doing the slacking off. He really tried to step up his game in this match. I will give it to him for that. He was trying some new moves. He was doing chain wrestling, some technical stuff. The only problem I have is he shouldn't be doing technical wrestling. It's clearly not his forte. You know, it's not his thing. You know, it would be just as weird if Bret Hart, you know, tried to do a match based on powerhouse moves, you know? They just don't mesh, so the chain wrestling just looked a little out of place, but I'll give Cena the credit for trying. This match was slow at the beginning. There were 2 fucking commercial breaks during the match. It went on for 30 minutes, though, the match, but towards the end, like, towards the last 10 minutes, it really picked up. It really picked up. You got some, like, you got a powerbomb from John Cena. You know, I haven't seen him do a powerbomb in a long time. He did the famouser from the top rope. So, yeah, like I said, he really did amp up the effort here. So, I have to give it to him for that, you know. I can't be a subjective Mark fanboy like all you and criticize everything everybody does all the fucking time, even if they try. So there you go. Punk did a fucking pile driver. I marked out for that. I'm not even gonna fucking like try to hide that. I straight up marked the fuck out. I got out of my seat and was like, yeah, woo! You know? Whoever thought that in one show that we'd see a pile driver and blood on the same show? Holy shit. But even those two things couldn't save this show from the shitfest that it was. But anyway, yeah, it was very back and forth at the end. A lot of reversals, a lot of counters. You get the guys kicking out of each other's finishers a couple times. But it ends with John Cena doing the Hurricanrana again, and he should have learned from the first time he did it. It just looked horrible. He's going to break his neck if he keeps on trying this. Because when you do a Hurricanrana, you're not supposed to fall on your neck. You're supposed to, you know, this is... So if you're doing a Hurricanrana, right? You jump, these are your legs, this is your head, right? The middle finger is your head, these are your legs. You jump and you twist yourself without hitting the mat, you know? But he's landing on his fucking neck. And it just doesn't look good. So he does the Hurricanrana, then he does the attitude adjustment, and just like that, it fucking ends, you know? I was expecting a swerve, I was expecting something to happen, you know? And it was just wishful thinking. I just wanted this to end in a double countout or a double disqualification just for triple threat. But it's apparent, folks. As they said, it's official. John Cena versus The Rock. Twice in a lifetime at WrestleMania 29. Woo! You know, everybody's so hyped for this match. You know, all you people were so, you know, delusional. And I can't blame you because I was a little too, you know, I was saying, you know, we were all saying that it's going to be a triple threat match, but we were just lying to ourselves. This is what I mean. Like, we just overestimate WWE for shit. It's so predictable that we like to think that it's too predictable to be that way. But fact of the matter is, it isn't. That is what it is. It's just a predictable sack of shit, this company. You know? So here we go. John Cena versus The Rock. It's official. We didn't see The Undertaker tonight, but that pretty much makes it clear that The Undertaker is going to come back down the road and face CM Punk. So there we go. You know, all of our nightmares coming all at fucking once. We had Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. You know, Undertaker versus Punk. So Punk is going to lose 3 times in a row at pay-per-views now. And John Cena versus The Rock. Where John Cena would be left standing tall beating The Rock with the new WWE Championship. Because his time is now. Yeah, it's 2005 all over again, motherfuckers. Yeah, so beside, you know, one good match, one really good match, and a good promo from Zeb Coulter, shit sucked balls. Sucked major fucking balls, you know? The whole fucking night, they're just promoting movies all fucking night. You know, like, how about working towards WrestleMania 29? That might be a good idea. It is, you know, only, you know, 40 or 30, like, late 30-something days away. I'm not sure. I haven't been counting down because I don't give a fuck. But, you know, you get a bunch of movie promos. It doesn't make sense. You're a wrestling company. You should be doing wrestling stuff, not a bunch of movie trailers, you know? Do you see, like, fucking, like, TV shows, you know, having music videos in their show? That wouldn't make sense because it's 2 different things. So why the fuck do you have movie trailers all over your fucking show? A lot of this was just recapping Triple H and Brock Lesnar. We saw that segment at least 5 times on this show. Bunch of bullshit. If it wasn't for that last match, I would say it's one of the worst Raws I've ever seen. But, you know, predictable shit. John Cena versus The Rock twice in a lifetime. Woo! Defend this shit, motherfuckers. Oh, God, this is going to suck, WrestleMania 29. Not, you know, I should be excited about going to WrestleMania. I haven't been to one since WrestleMania 20. And this company manages, WWE, World Wrestling Boredom, manages to drain all the fucking excitement out from me. Who would have knew? I'm Jay Shady, voice of reason. Like, comment, subscribe, tell me what you thought. Spitting the truth, and I'll see you later.